Have you ever thought about fostering a pet? Well, today on the Paw Report, we'll talk to Jill McDevitt from Genesis Animal Rescue about what you might need to know before considering it. That's coming up next on the Paw Report, so grab your favorite cuddly pal. I've got Teddy and Toby here, and stay tuned. Welcome to the Paw Report. I'm your host, Kate Pleasant, and today we're talking about fostering pets. And I'm here with Jill McDevitt, who works with Genesis Animal Rescue. You're actually on the board there, right?
Yes.
And you also foster pets.
Yes.
Okay. So tell me first, what is fostering for people that aren't familiar with the foster process for pets?
Well, it's similar to the fostering children, and people ask me that all the time. It's dogs or cats that come into our program that are in need. They don't have a home for whatever reason, and we don't have a facility where we keep dogs like an animal control. We keep them all into our volunteers' homes.
Okay.
So we would take a dog or a cat into our home, basically care for it like our own pet, and then answer questions for adoptees, somebody that might be interested in adopting that pet.
Okay. And so is it the kind of thing where people contact your organization with animals and then you kind of distribute them to your volunteers?
Yes, more often than not, they come through our director. She actually happens to be a vet tech at a local animal veterinary office, and so she gets a lot of pets that way. Somebody comes in, they can no longer care for their pet, or a stray that has been hit by a car comes into the office, and then a lot of times she will take it in, do the vet care, and then put it out to a foster home.
Okay. And how many volunteers are involved with Genesis? So how many people foster animals?
We have probably about 10 to 12 fosters, but usually not all at one time, because people get burnt out, people get busy in their regular life and need to take a break from fostering. Okay. So we have some volunteers that just had new babies, and so they're not fostering for right now.
Okay. And so what is it, emotionally to foster a pet? Because I mean, for me, I think, oh, I would love to take these animals into my home, but I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to let them go when someone wanted to adopt them.
That's one of the most common questions people ask me, is how can you do it? How can you give them up? And we kind of laugh in our organization. There's what we call a foster to own program, or a failed foster home. and everybody does it occasionally, but you can't continue to do that or you would not be able to keep fostering. And what we keep telling ourselves is that by fostering this animal, we are saving an animal's life that was, might have been euthanized, might have not have had a home, and it needs its own home. And if we keep taking them in, it's not a special home. If we have 10 or 12 dogs, then that new dog doesn't have a special place in our heart. We want to give it a special place by having a home of its own. So it is sad, but it's a happy kind of sad.
Okay. And are there advantages then with fostering, because maybe those people that are fostering learn the animal behaviors and can then better relate them to someone that wants to adopt, rather than maybe, say, a dog that's in a shelter?
That's the biggest advantage to being a foster home-based program, is that we can assess the dog, we can see the veterinary care that it might need, we would be able to be in tune, finding lumps and bumps, things like that. We can work on housebreaking, work on basic sit, down, potty training, or I should say housebreaking. We call it potty training a lot.
It's like children.
It is like children. And then, like you said, when a potential adopter calls and says, I'm really interested in this dog, I think he's beautiful, and I have these children, and I can say, I really don't think that this dog would be happy with you because, he really hates children, or he needs this or needs that. So it's not based on looks, because sometimes if you go to the animal shelter, you just see a dog, and you can fall in love with the looks, but you get it home and you don't match.
Right. So it's really kind of a matching process for
Right.
people and animals, let alone just the animal.
Right. We are looking for things like activity level, what the dog would like, whether they prefer a woman or a man. Sometimes, some dogs just really are going to bond to a woman or bond to a man, and so we tell them that. Some dogs just have to have another dog, that are so elated to play with another dog that they would not have a good life if they didn't have another dog, or they would drive their new home crazy.
Right. And so what would you say to someone that's considering fostering? What do they need to think about?
Well, they need to think about, like you said, wanting to keep them all, and you need to realistically think about, you know, can I do this? Can I emotionally provide care and fall in love and then give up? And especially if you have children, because children can't understand that. And, you know, why does a dog come and then he goes, and, you know, and it might, smaller children, it might upset them. You need to make sure you have enough time, because it does take some time, and it takes some time away from your regular pets.
Sure.
Because, you know, if you have a new foster dog that needs some training, needs some exercise, needs walking, you may have to take care of it rather than maybe walking your own dog. And so you have to think, is your own dogs going to be able to handle that?
I guess you'd have to consider if your dogs would get along with another dog.
Definitely. I had been interested in fostering for a long time, but was only able to start fostering in 2005 after my dog passed away of cancer. He was very dog aggressive and would not tolerate another dog in his house. And so I did not foster until after he was gone.
Okay, so there's a lot to consider between dogs,
Definitely.
children, time, training.
Right, and you have to have enough dog savvy if you're doing dogs, or you know, or cats, is bringing different animals into your house, being able to see signals, you know, making sure that they're going to not have a dog fight, you know, those types of things. So you have to be pretty dog savvy and being able to meld them in.
Okay, and I assume there would be some sort of cost associated with this as well to the foster parent. Is that something the organization helps with, or do you need to also be sure that you are financially able to support this?
Typically, we don't ask anything financially from the foster. We do all the veterinary care. The only thing that we would possibly ask from the foster home is to transport the dog to and from vet appointments if there is, or to and from adoption events in the area.
Okay.
But we are very lucky. We get a lot of donations of food, toys, beds, those types of things. So we make those available to the foster homes.
Okay, so it's something that if you're considering, you wouldn't have to consider too
Right.
much of a cost in. Okay, and what about where all do the animals come from? You kind of covered it earlier, strays going into veterinary offices. Do they come from other shelters?
They do. Every group is different, that how they get theirs. But from us, we get some, as I said, that need and come into a veterinary office that's been hurt, you know, hit by a car, that type of thing. We'll cover it and rehab them. We have people coming into veterinary offices. Actually, we had one this week that were going to euthanize their pets because they were moving and they could not find a home for them, and which was very, very sad. And they were having to, you know, they lost their home. And so we take in, you know, hard luck cases like that. We have people contact us through the website that they no longer can keep their animals. Again, with this economy, people are having to move. People are having to move into apartments, losing their houses. We have strays for cats. We have a lot of people, you know, there's a lot of stray cats. People will catch them, you know, especially the kittens. We get them spayed and neutered and then get them out into homes. So,
Okay. So really,
a variety of places. And we also, as you mentioned, there's some animal control facilities that maybe don't have the way to get adoptions as much. They're just small local animal controls, or even, you know, in other areas or other states. And we pull from those shelters where they have dogs or cats are at risk of being euthanized because there's not enough adoptive people coming in to look at them. So we'll pull those also.
Okay. Can you kind of talk to us about what your first fostering experiences was like? You know, what was it like when they brought the animal to your home, and how did it kind of work?
Well, I had just called to volunteer, and I had a meeting with the director, and she found out I had a lot of dog experience. I used to teach training classes, so she asked me to, they had a special needs dog that was very, very shy, and asked me to do that. But of course, before I could do that, we have to have a home visit, because they just met me and they didn't know anything about me. So the director came to my home with the dog, you know, inspected my home, not for cleanliness, not for anything like that, but just to make sure that you know, I was who I said I was, that, you know, my own pets were in good care, and that my family members, my husband, was also in agreement, because we want to make sure everybody.
Right.
So they brought the little puppy in and sat and talked with me for a while before they left, and that was a lot of fun. Though that, unfortunately, my first fostering experience did not have a happy ending. Unfortunately, we found out that the dog was very, very ill, and that's why he was shy, and so did not make it. So that was very hard as a first foster.
Sure. But you still decided you'd go on and do it.
But I would do it because it made me realize that there's something that I can give back. That it's one of my abilities is I can nurture pets and give them love and care, and so it just opened a space then for my next one.
I know you used to kind of write about some of your experiences with animals, and can you kind of talk about, I know I read one of your posts about a typical day in the life of a dog rescuer, and it was pretty humorous. Do you want to share that story? Just this will give people a good idea of what it can really be like when you have foster pets at your home.
And sometimes you can have more than one foster pet. You don't have to. In my case, a lot of times I have a couple or three coming in or out of my house, and I have, of course, pets of my own. And you do have to kind of have a strong stomach for fostering because you're going to have messes. We talked about housebreaking. Most pets are not housebroken when they come here.
Right.
And so the one I talked about that you mentioned was I woke up in the morning and I walked out in the living room and somebody had pooped on the living room floor. So I went to get tissues to clean that up, and I came back out, and then I found a place where somebody had peed on the floor. And so I went and I cleaned that up, and then I was continuing to get ready. Another dog came and told me they wanted to go out, which was good, but when I went back in the living room, somebody had thrown up on the living room carpet. This is all on one morning. So I scrubbed the carpet, let the dogs out, and then I had all ready to go to work, and I went in our dining room, and there was like a lake of pee on my dining room floor. And I just couldn't believe all that could happen in one morning, but it does. And so I was very happy then that day to go to work where there wasn't nobody was peeing or pooping on my office floor. But it is true. I mean, there are some cases. I mean, housebreaking is the major reason why dogs are given up and they're at the shelters. So that's a foster home is when their main duties is housebreaking. So you have to be ready for that.
So you have to consider that this could be something that happens for a long time every day. So there's a patience thing.
Very much, especially if you foster puppies. There's just a lot of cleanup. And you have to think about, do you have white carpet? If you are a very nitpicky housekeeper and want everything just so, fostering probably isn't going to be for you because there's going to be messes.
What are some other things that people would need to consider when fostering? Is there a certain length of stay? Is there kind of an average there?
Things to think about is the length of stay. Of course, an ideal, the minimum would be 2 weeks. We would get them in, we would get the vet care, get them spayed, neutered, have them up on the website, interview potential adopters, do that whole process. Minimum is 2 weeks. We just placed a dog, though, last week that we had for a year and a half.
Wow, okay. So those kind of integrate into being part of those foster families.
It is, and that one was very hard and very hard for her to lose, and she, really had to get active in doing something else to keep her mind off of losing that. Basically, it was like a family pet.
So what's it like when you take a dog to a, like an adoption event? Is that, are there a lot of public events for that? Is it? We do local pet stores, especially, and some events on our own. Like we've had some art events and some groups that want to do things for us. We usually have we hope to have each foster mom bring their pet, their dog or cat, so that they can answer questions when the public comes up, because they know them best. And if they don't, then we have information written about what that pet's likes and dislikes. So we answer a lot of questions, but we don't do any same-day adoptions at events. We like to talk to a lot of people, tell them about that pet, tell them about all the different pets, help educate them on what they're looking for. If they say, oh, this is a cute, fluffy little white puppy, I want this cute, fluffy white puppy, we start asking them questions about, well, how long do you work, and do you have time for this? And we can start helping them educate what's the best pet for them. Okay.
But we do, we go ahead and take applications for them, and then we always want them to think. We don't want impulse buying.
Kind of sleep on it type of thing.
You want to sleep on it, and then, like I said, just for we do home visits for foster homes, we do home visits for people that want to adopt.
Permanent placements.
Permanent placement. We want to meet the spouses and the children to make sure that everybody's in agreement, because we don't want a spouse to surprise another spouse with, look, honey, I brought a puppy home. And so we want to know that it's a welcome member.
Okay. And so when you're fostering a pet, is it the kind of thing where sometimes you have ones that just don't work out?
Yes. Every foster home is different in our organization in what they like and don't like, and we take that in consideration.
Sure.
We don't put a German Shepherd at our one foster home that she has little yappy dogs, and that would not work.
Right.
We have different people that don't like or don't like different breeds. Like I will foster rat terriers, and nobody else in our organization, they all hate that breed, and so I'll take the rat terriers. And we have people that will, that do very much do cats and are very educated and very good at cats. But if you ever get a foster and you're like, okay, this is not working, we are not seeing eye to eye on this, or he's not getting along with my dogs or cats, the foster just contacts one of the board members and we just make a swap.
Okay.
And same type of thing if you're going to go on vacation and you have a long-term foster, maybe it doesn't have an adoption pending or anything, then typically we like to use another foster home.
Rather than trying to get them boarded. And
right.
Like
and
that.
We're also very lucky that the local boarding places will work with us and will provide some free short-term boarding for us in a situation when we don't have a foster home available and we have a pet in need. Okay.
So what do you like best about fostering for someone that's maybe considering doing this?
I love to see the change, like the before and after. Oftentimes when the pet comes to our care, not only are they physically ill, they have sores, or they're matted and they're dirty and they have fleas, but the look in their eyes is so downtrodden and so void of hope.
Sure.
And then to take them and gain their trust, show them how fun life can be in the right home, and show them toys and fluffy beds and walks and balls and toys, all those kinds of things, and to see the turnaround of their personality and see their eyes sparkle. That's really where I see it, when they'll actually wag their tail and their eyes sparkle, when they see the hope of what life can be.
Okay. And there's probably all kinds of different volunteers. Do you find that your volunteers are all kinds of people? Busy people, retired people?
Definitely, and we need all different kinds. And we have volunteers, obviously fosters, but people that don't want to do fosters, we have volunteers opportunities for them. We do fundraising, we do dog washes, we need, adoption information written up, nice little stories for our website help and everything. And it's really nice that we have people with all these different skills that step up and do what they can do. And we especially like retired homes because they have a little bit more time. And so for the dogs or cats that need some special care, the people that have the extra time to be able to do some training, to do some rehab, it's really nice to have that.
Well, they're home all day, so
yes.
There's plenty of attention that they can probably share with those animals, and it's probably some company for them as well.
Oh, definitely.
So that's probably a good thing too. But are there a lot of foster organizations in this area? We have a pretty wide viewing area here. Are there a lot of foster organizations around?
I think that the tide is really changing, even in local animal control. Used to be local animal control, they were just, they threw them in there. They didn't do anything. If somebody happened to come and adopt them, that's great. And if not, they didn't. But now all the organizations really are open to foster homes, especially for special needs. Some labs, they can do fine in an animal control.
Sure.
But a little Chihuahua or a little Bichon, they're scared to death, and they're cold and they're wet in the shelter. So they really thrive in a foster home. And so a lot of organizations are doing that now. And that's actually an easier way to set up a new rescue. Is most people, when you're first starting thinking, I'm going to do a rescue, I'm going to work with my group of friends and we're going to rescue animals, you don't have the capital to make it a building.
Right.
So foster home is the way to go. We are licensed with the state, and which is very minimal fee for licensing for foster homes, and it's definitely the way to go.
So you definitely see that as a trend, and I can understand that, I suppose. I mean, as opposed to, you know, the county developing an animal shelter and having to put up a physical structure,
Right.
they may be able to pick up these animals and then distribute them after they get the care they need.
Right, and also we know so much more about them when you foster them, and you can do a much better match because you see their personalities. And also, the shelter is just not a good place to gauge personality in animals, because an animal that might be a wonderful, loving dog at home is afraid or aggressive at the shelter because all the barking dogs.
Anxiety.
They have a lot of anxieties. So you don't really know how they're going to act, and they may be passed over when they really shouldn't be at the shelter.
Okay.
So
it's the kind of thing that, again, it goes back to matching. You know,
yes,
the fostering
definitely
allows for better personality matching between owners and pets.
And if you do that to begin with, then they don't get returned. But we always do take any returns. Our pets are for life, in that if for any reason after we adopt a pet to somebody and it doesn't work out, or they have a traumatic life event, you know, somebody in their family gets sick or ill that aren't going to be home, the older person goes into a nursing home, whatever reason, the dog or cat always comes back to us.
Okay. So even if you're not in our area, you know, and you're not familiar with the rescues, maybe you could contact, I'm sure people could look for various rescue organizations or contact your local animal control. They're probably going to know.
Definitely contact your local animal control, see if they are in need of volunteers or fostering. Pet Finder is a wonderful website that has that you can find who all's in your area.
Okay, so there's resources available out there as well. So just takes a minute to kind of think about and look at. But like we've said before, if you're considering fostering a pet, there are many, many things to consider. So,
definitely.
Well, Jill McDevitt from Genesis Animal Rescue, we appreciate you coming in and talking about fostering pets today. And hopefully we'll be able to talk to you again sometime.
Thanks, Kate.
Have a video or photo of your pet doing something funny or absolutely adorable? We'd love to share it with our viewers here at the Paw Report. Email it to me, Kate, at kfpleasant@eiu.edu, and you can see it on our show. Just make sure it's a video taken by you or that you have permission to share. For more information about how to get that video or photo to us, email me or call us at 581-6960.
If every dog has his day, then today is Walter's day.
Walter's getting the tummy rub, which comes with the Palace Suite.
His well-heeled owners are shelling out $100 a night for old Walter to sniff the rarefied air of affluence at Mission Valley's Pooch Hotel.
This is San Diego's newest 5-star luxury pet resort, boarding and daycare.
The Palace Suite comes with a flat-screen TV, a memory foam bed with turn-down service, and of course, the complimentary tummy rub.
Our presidential suite, again, a little bit smaller than the Palace, but the same amenities.
Amenities, which include 24-hour-a-day webcam access, so you can watch Fido lounging in the lap of luxury while you're staying at a Holiday Inn Express. But you don't have to opt for the pet penthouse.
The suites here run from $50 a night to $100 a night.
When it comes to exercise at the Pooch Hotel, all dogs are created equal.
We have 3 different play areas.
Right.
And each play area is designated for size and temperament of the animals.
And even though the Pooch Hotel is an indoor facility, each play area comes with a patch of real grass. But if your dog doesn't play well with others, he can always drop a few lbs on the treadmill or just while away the hours relaxing in their full-service spa. Finish off your day of decadence with a pawy petty, and yours can be the most pampered pooch on the planet.
This is a 24/7 facility, so that means you don't have to drop off at a certain time, you don't have to pick up at a certain time.
So forget the separation anxiety of leaving your dog with a group of total strangers. At the Pooch Hotel, he'd probably be happy if you never picked him up.